Okay, so at this point, you hopefully have answered the do now. Um, this is Brian Vetter, your English teacher this year. One high moment from my break was that I got to binge a really good show on HBO. A low point was getting coronavirus. So I am outside my house filming this. I got corona a week ago and the day after Christmas. I'm scheduled to go back and see you on Thursday. I still don't feel great, so I can't make any promises, but I'm here to explain what we're doing today. I tried to come up with something more interesting than the last time I was out because I had a lot of complaints about the news articles. I think you will really enjoy this. You will need headphones. So if you need to pause and find some headphones, pause now and find some headphones. So we're going to listen to a podcast. This, in my opinion, is the best podcast that's ever been written, recorded, whatever. So the podcast is called Serial, Serial, not like Fruit Loops, but like a serial murderer. The podcast is a podcast is when people record things that they think are meaningful and other people listen to them. I think it takes a lot to have a good podcast. This is a good podcast. There are multiple episodes. We're just going to listen to the first one today. Let me read you the description right here. It's Baltimore, 1999. Hae-Min Lee, a popular high school senior, disappears after school one day. This is a true story. 6 weeks later, detectives arrest her classmate and ex-boyfriend Adnan Syed for her murder. He says he's innocent, but he can't exactly remember what he was doing on that January afternoon. But somebody can. A classmate at Woodlawn High School says she knows where Adnan was. The trouble is, she's nowhere to be found. The podcast, the first episode, is 53 minutes. There is some language that's intense. There's also a description of the body at one point that is intense. So this is me warning you, it can get a little intense. But I think it is so phenomenal and I think it'll catch your attention, which is why I threw it in here. So this is literally the substitute work. Hopefully you recognize that. You can listen to the first episode here. So you click this and it brings you to episode 1. Sorry, I'm gonna make my face a little smaller. Thank you. You hit play and it starts. There should be an advertisement at the beginning. Just wait for the advertisement to go through. This here is a link to the transcript. You should be reading this as you're listening. I'll repeat it one more time. You should be reading this as you're listening. It will raise your reading level and it will help you follow along. If you get confused or you lose your spot, pause the podcast and find your stuff. Also, if you find something that can help you with an assignment that you're working on, pause it, answer the question or do whatever you need to do and then restart it. You are in control of this podcast. It will help you to pause it when you need to. You have 3 assignments. This might bleed over into Wednesday. We'll see how everybody does in terms of completion. So the first assignment out of 3 is about the characters. 5 main characters, including the narrator. What do we know about this person? What do they look like? What is their role in the murder? What is their family like, personality, background, whatever. 5 or more bullet points for each person. So if it says Adnan is a circus performer, you pause the podcast, write it down, and then keep going. I think that would be the best way to do it. This is just a question for you to think about. What does this character want, or what are they trying to accomplish? So those are 5 people there to fill that out for. Pause it when you need to. The second one is all about vocab. So this is the page number of the podcast. So if this says, it starts weird because it's page 2, but if it says page 6, then you're going to go to page 6 here and find it. You also can hit Control F and type a word. Obviously, Brian is not on the podcast. And then it will come up on the screen. You copy and paste the sentence you find, the word in, you predict the definition, what made you think this, and then the actual definition. You can Google that. Predict it first. Don't just Google it. See what you think based on the context or the sentence it's in. Lastly, based on episode 1 of the podcast, Serial, do you believe Adnan Syed is innocent or guilty in the murder of Hae Min Lee? This is just preparing you for the argumentative writing. So come up with your answer based on what you listened to. Do you think he's innocent or guilty? Because blank. So you just have to fill in these 2 blanks there. You find a quote, 2 quotes from the episode that support your idea, the page number, what does it show in your own words, and why do you think this quote shows that Adnan is innocent or guilty? All 3, ideally, of these activities are done by the end of class today because you have 95 minutes. If you need to finish it outside of class, great. And then I think on Wednesday, I'm going to have you turn this into a real piece of writing. That is my gut. But we'll have to see what happens because as is clear, we need to be adaptive and react to what happens in the moment. So again, 3 activities for the podcast. You're just listening to episode 1. You should read along while you're listening. And then if you have any questions, you can comment on the assignment on Google Classroom, and I will try to help you from my bed with Ronan. I love you. Let me know what you need. Be nice to the sub. Goodbye.